what's up everyone? Dante here. Now, I got a little bit of a desktop tour, and some of the stuff is not new. It's just something I realized over time. I wanted to be working from a place I can work at and just focus on working. You know, I didn't want to have a laptop setup, a desktop setup, and trying to figure out which one was which. I wanted a desktop setup because I just like the power of having a desktop. So now I'm at the point where I just realized that my desktop setup is going to be my edit video station. Any laptop I have, I'm going to be using for like podcasting. Take that, edit the podcast, unless I got a video podcast. Then I'll have something else set up for that. But I basically just want something where I can kind of just focus on editing videos with a nice screen and nice little setup in case the video codecs that I'm shooting in is just too taxing for a laptop. I can put it on my desktop with no problem. So without further ado, so let me get started and let you see what this actual desktop setup consists of. Now, first and foremost, the display I have right here is the Samsung AM702 Tizen smart display. Now, I didn't plan on getting a smart display. I just seen it on Best Buy, liked the price of it, got it. And then when I got my hands on it and actually put it together and set it up, it was like Wi-Fi password. I'm sitting here like, this thing is a smart display, and that kind of is the extra benefit of getting this display. It's a 4K display that, 32 inches. That's all I like to work on now because I got so used to using the 32-inch display from before, so I decided to get another one. Now, if people who don't know, who's new to this channel, realize I was using my desktop to edit on a 55-inch OLED display. Overkill, I know that. And sometimes using OLED display that you get the burn in from, editing and stuff like that. Sit back, take a step back. It was like, all right, I want something a little smaller, a little condensed, but enough screen real estate where I can kind of edit a video and not have that annoyance of having a compact screen trying to edit a video. It comes with 2 HDMI outputs and 1 USB-C. This allows you to charge a MacBook on there. If you want to connect a MacBook, you can charge it and display it at the same time. So you can kind of get the same experience of having, I believe it's the LG 5K display that came out. So, high resolution, but just this 4K. But if it's an option that you want, you have it right there. Next up is the desktop I actually been using for years, but I stopped using when I got a MacBook Pro with the M1 chip to see how that works. So I went back to the desktop because one of the reasons why I did that, desktop just have more power. Yes, laptops are having some more, cores and things like that when it comes to these chips. But, desktop, a tower, decked out, you can get the fastest, strongest, powerful cores you can get within the desktop. So that's why I wanted to stick with one. Now this one is pretty old. It's an 8-core processor, Intel, I believe 7th gen, one of those. It's old. It's not like a recent updated one and this and that. I'm just going to use this for the time being. Now, when I invest in this new camera I'm going to be getting, stay tuned for that. I want to see how this computer holds up to this camera and see how how much work horsepower I have in this. So I did this determine if I have to upgrade to a stronger desktop tower. With more cores, more RAM, whatever it needs. Let's just see how this works out. It was a gaming desktop from HP, so it was HP Omen. Like I said, Intel Core 7th Gen, 8 cores. That's pretty low nowadays. 16 gigabytes RAM. Had a SSD and 1 terabyte hard drive, so you can put the games on and things like that. So you'll really see my frustration, if it is any, when I get my hands on this new camera I'm investing in and see how this all holds up, because this is going to be interesting to see. Next on the desktop layout is my little Scarlett 2i2 and Kingston Meteor card reader. I think the Scarlett 2i2 is the actual, I believe it's the first generation. So I just use that to use headphone monitors to monitor audio and things like that. So I don't really record much from there and just go from there. So that's basically what that is. I still use SD cards, so the Kingston card reader works perfectly fine with no problems. Like I said, this ain't the 3rd generation of Scarlett 2i2, it's just the 1st gen. So there's certain features that one has that this one doesn't have, so that's not a big deal. As you can see, I also have a Nomad multi-charger layout for iPhone, AirPods, Apple Watch. Only thing I have a problem with these, when you want to charge R3, you have to sit them a certain way. You can't just lay them the way they're supposed to go when you want to charge all three, and it's just going to charge. You got to lay them a certain way and line it up a certain way for it to charge properly. Bit of annoyance, but it works properly when it's all set up and lined up right. I also have a Lenovo smart clock. Now this was how can I put this? Kind of like, I wouldn't say an impulse buy, but it was a random buy for me. I was at Best Buy just looking around, see any kind of Blu-rays I wanted at the time, and I seen this clock. Well, I think it was like $30. I said, a smart clock for $30? And plus I needed a clock in my room because I'm tired of using my phone at the time. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go get this. And I was like, after I set it up, I set it up with the Google Assistant. So everything Google in my house connected right with it, no problem. I can play my Spotify account, set an alarm, all these type of things. Now, it was other ones that came out with a display on there where you can kind of get pictures and images and all that other stuff. Didn't quite need that. I just needed a clock, and that's what this is. And not a bad buy for $30. And the last thing on this desktop setup is not really part of the desktop setup. It's just something there that I use from time to time, and that's the Zoom PodTrack P4. I use this to record podcasts. One of the reasons why I really like this little portable podcast device is that it has 70 dB of gain, so I use short SM7Bs to record the podcast, and that's a very low sounding microphone. Like, you could have a regular recorder and just plug it in. It will record and give you sound, but it'd be so low. So with this having so much, dBs in it, I don't have to, put a extra amplifier on it to boost the signal. Like, you got Fathead and you got, the Cloud Lifters and the Dynamite, which are great, amplifiers that's portable. Well, two are more portable than the other, but you don't have to use that to boost the signal up so high to get a good signal out of these microphones. With this, it just plug and play. You can get a good sound and record right from there. And it's portable. I can take it to any place. Like, say if my friend, one of my homies called me up and said, yo, I want to record a podcast real quick. All right, I'm there. I'll bring that, a couple of Shores, a couple of XLR cables, and the plug to give you constant power, and we good to go from there. You know what I mean? It's something like little things like that where it don't take up too much space, very portable, you can just get and go and get to moving. And that's one of the reasons why I like this recorder. And the price is not bad too. It's like $220 for that. And all the stuff you get is a great startup kit that you can get, for starting a podcast. So can't go wrong with that device right there. But overall, this is the desktop setup. This is what I'm going to stick to now. I'm not going to sit here and deviate from what's I think is good and what might be good. I'm going to stick to having a desktop just for video editing. That's what it's going to be. A podcast and it's just audio, I get me a laptop for that. But if I want to add video, going back to a desktop. Now, also, like I said, what this allows me to do to have this, if this desktop clocks out, I can just buy another one, plug and play, and I'm right back at it. And that's something you kind of don't want to limit yourself to, but like things where I love the way the iMac looks, but if that clocks out, that's the whole computer's in one. Give or take. Let's just say it lasts you 2 years and it clocks out. Never heard of it, but it's possible. Things like that. See, with a tower, if that clocks out, I could either replace the part or just get a whole new desktop and just, swap out basically, like a hard drive. Swap out, put another one in there, and I'm good to go. So that's why I want to stick with this setup, because it just gives me better overall options when it comes to customization and just freedom to not be bottlenecked into a laptop. I've been editing on a laptop with that 13-inch display. Great looking display. Annoys the crap out of me when it comes to trying to edit, and it's so cramped and cluttered. Oh, it's terrible. So now I got a 32-inch display desktop that's just going to be set out for video editing, and that's that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoy. Hit that like button. Post a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.